Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are having a wonderful day so far. I hope you're having a wonderful week so far. And quite honestly, listen, if you are having a bad week or you're having a bad day, it could always be worse. You could be this guy. I took that with my own phone in Hilliard, Ohio. That's a real thing. Anyway, keep your head up. Here's the goal for today. I'm going to try to source $600 worth of inventory to resell on eBay. My goal spend is $120. I don't want to go over that for the $600. I'm going to be frequenting primarily Goodwills. Maybe we'll hit some other thrift stores as well. But the disadvantage I think I'm going to have is I've already been to all of these stores every day this week so far. So I already know what they have and what they don't have. And it will all hinge on how well they've restocked their stores. So I don't know how long this is going to take. We're going to ride along. Maybe I'll take you inside the store so that you guys can take a look at some of the items they've got on the shelves as well. And when it's all said and done, we'll tally up how long it took, if I met my goal, if I didn't meet my goal, and then maybe we'll rinse and repeat it another time. So let's get into the stores. All right, so we're in store one here. There was a reseller there before me, so I had to move to the electronics because I know that individual likes looking for electronics. So just kind of going through, looking to see if I can find anything. Obviously, a lot of bread makers there. Again, I've seen all of this stuff, all of these items yesterday. So I'm really just looking for items that they replenished the evening of. So, because I'm usually there in the mornings. So I don't see anything that piques my interest just yet. And I'm kind of glazing over everything because I'm probably going to hit the shoes next, knowing that the reseller that I'm kind of competing with for space in the store here doesn't particularly go after shoes, but they definitely look for the electronics, and I don't want to miss anything. So I don't really see anything there. Floors look nice and clean. I noticed these sweatpants, the Watchers, and I had never heard of the brand before, 3 Black Dot. I looked that brand up. I didn't see anything. It's hard to say if this was like a truly licensed piece. So I didn't end up buying those at the end of the shift here, the end of my my sourcing. But they were cool nonetheless. So here's a little. Just a random section here. There's a pasta maker right there that I had seen yesterday. No go on that. Little ride-on car. No battery with that. I didn't want to really mess with that. Sporting goods section. Not looking too full. No bats, no gloves. I don't usually mess with helmets. So we're going to go on to the shoes. Shoes are looking kind of thin. Some Adidas there. I didn't like the condition. I'm not really sure that outside of like the old real vintage Adidas high tops. That just didn't look like anything that I was interested in. Some Nikes here, but nothing worth reselling for sure. A lot of men's dress shoes. I don't really mess with men's dress shoes as much as I used to in the past. They just don't sell well enough for me. And quite honestly, there's just not enough of them in the wild for me to get into them. I mean, like I'll sell anything that that sells, but not finding much of them recently. Decent pair of Nikes, but they had a little bit too much wear at the balls of the feet area, so I passed on those. Another pair of like Jordans that just looked like they were in a condition that I wasn't 100% interested in. So I see a whole lot of nothing right now. Now, a different story here, moving into the CDs and video games, because it looks like there's a stack of games here that might work. See Mortal Kombat right there. You got to check inside, make sure that the actual games are in there. But here's a lot of stuff that I hadn't seen before. Prince of Persia, I didn't end up picking that up. Metal Gear Solid, I passed on that as well. But 3 and 2 for PlayStation 2. There's a game that I did pick up. Another one. This turned out to be a pretty good video game haul here at the end of the day. Passed on the ESPN game. Just checking to make sure that it's the same game inside. Sometimes there'll be a Mario game slipped in there by accident. NBA Inside Drive, passed on that one as well. Sega GT, no value in that. Oni, we ended up taking him home. Cleaned that up a little bit. No go on Madden 06. I can't remember if I brought that one home. Didn't get the NBA game. That Mortal Kombat game right there, we brought that home for sure. MLB The Show, passed on that. Dead to Rights, passed on that one as well. Dragon Ball Z, that's in the cart. We took that one home. It was a good find, and we're off to the women's shoes. Not a whole lot going on in the women's shoe section. I did, however, find a pair of Adidas wrestling shoes that were up in not like a showcase, but like an unlocked showcase to the side of the cash registers. There's people up there. Like, I don't want to film employees, so I did end up picking those up. You'll see those toward the end of the video. We'll get a value on those as well. But as far as the women's shoes on this shelf here, not a whole lot going on. Again, a bunch of stuff I saw yesterday. Pair of Mizunos that are in good condition, but there's just no value in those ones. And then, you know, some one-off brands and just nothing here that, in my opinion, or for my business model, would have made sense to bring home. Good pairs in good condition, but just, you know, mall brands, cheap China shoes, and brands that really just have no resale value right now. Cool looking pair of Nikes, but just wasn't satisfied with the feel of those, or the overall condition. Boots, it's gonna be boot season pretty soon. Little red, white, and blue, you know, shiny booties right there, but yeah, not a whole lot doing on that. One quick glance, then we're over to the home goods section. Teapots, I usually always check those. So I took a look at this. No go on that brand. Knick-Knack Central. Yeah, they have it packed in, you know, which is nice. You do have to dig a little bit to find good items. But in this instance on these shelves, a couple of like what I thought would have been hits but turned out to be misses there. Not really seeing anything. If you see something that I missed, please let me know in the comments, because you know, I'm always willing to learn. So you might catch something on these shelves that I didn't. Bunch of like home goods, you know, in these like bears. They've been sitting on the shelf now for a couple of days, just no value. I checked like Cuddle Buddies, I think is the name of those. I checked some of them, not much money there. You can there are a couple of rare ones that are worth some money on the Cuddle Buddies brand, but for the most part, if those were 50 cents a piece, maybe, but not happening at whatever prices they had them at. Cool little mosaic looking tiles there, but nothing I recognized as having any value. Nice little Franklin Covey planner, little scratch on the leather there. Looks nice, just not into it. That's one of those misplaced items where it should be in another section. A lot of times, like you'll hear me say in my videos, I do well when items have been misplaced by other people for whatever reason, but that had no value in it, so just moved on from it there. Not much doing on these middle to top shelves here. And we're getting kind of to the end of the aisle. Hiding down here, I saw a Grandeur Noel. It was like a little snow globe, water globe. I picked that up, but it was broken on the inside. Now that would have probably been, and I do good with Grandeur Noel, that would have been a good resale right there if it had been in good condition. It just wasn't. These little guys here, I ended up taking them home. These hand-painted stemless glasses, the puppies, you know, Pier 1 going out of business, and the fact that, you know, people love their dogs. there are some comparable sales to go on. And all right, so I just finished up at the first location. I spent a total of 40 minutes in the store. I found some stuff that you saw in the cart and then some things that you didn't see. One of the items in particular was behind the counter. So I didn't want to film that area. I'm already at the next store, so I'm gonna head in here. We'll take the camera in, we'll see what we can find at spot number 2. Yeah, so I never used to go in this store. It was just too small for my blood at the time, and other stores were producing. Lately, however, though, it's been a nice surprise. There is always something in there to source. So I keep going back. I mean, that's the name of the game here. They have a very, very small toy section. As you can see, not much going on. I move on from this pretty quickly over to a women's shoes section. Now they have shoes like sprinkled out throughout their store. So taking a look here, and again, going up and down, some one-offs. I mean, there might be like some $10, $15 bills in here, but when you're paying $4, I don't know. I mean, that's a good return. I just am sort of unsatisfied with that return, feeling like I could do better with my dollars spent. So this side of the store for women's shoes, outside of a pair of Tory Burch wedges, I never really find anything here. It's always usually over like atop the women's clothing. They have like baskets that sit on top. You'll see it when we get to the hats. I do better in those areas, but never really much on these shelves here. And so like once we get through taking a look at this area, let's kind of move on to like some of the stereo equipment and some electronics. As you can see, I have a Sanyo DVD VHS player. I had to grab that because it was on a cart, and there are 3 other resellers in there that did come home with me. We'll talk about that guy later. So I had to move quick, and I didn't have my camera on at the time. So I'm always trying to maneuver between like camera and people, and doesn't come natural to me, that's for sure. So nothing going on here in the electronic section. Again, that thing was on one of the rolling carts. They had like 3 or 4 of them set out, which is always wonderful because you know it's new, fresh merchandise. And hopefully it hasn't been picked over, so I ran and grabbed it as fast as I could. And a lot of big bulky boom boxes that you could probably sell locally, if there was value in them, but I never really check unless it's one of those like job site radios. So passed on all of that stuff. Just trying to see if there's any like there's an Auric, a couple cleaners there, but nothing that's like big money. More electronics right here, home goods and electronics, a lot of Keurigs. I don't usually ever pick that stuff up. Juicers, unless it's Omega, I totally pass on those these days. They are hard sells for me. Those toaster ovens right there, they're good. That one was filthy, so that was going to stay right where I was at. And George Foreman grills, you guys have seen them. Nice little white toaster there. Those are $10 a dozen. And then a hodgepodge of like arts and crafts stuff there. Some coffee pots there, Mr. Coffee or Cuisinart, I don't know. It might have been decent, but not really into it. So I'm gonna keep pushing down the aisle here. One-way aisles with the pandemic. You can only go one way. So I think I'm going the right way. Looking for anything, and maybe some hidden calculators. Nothing right there organized in shelf. This, however, is interesting. I see a bread maker, and you're going to have to bear with me here as I'm trying to check the model number while balancing a camera in my hand. So it gets a little crazy, but it's a Breadman. The model on this one is TR444. I will end up putting that in my cart and taking it home after running comps, and we'll talk about that guy towards the end of the video there. I liked what I saw. I test my bread makers, so I eat a ton of bread, And yeah, I'm on like a bread making kick. I don't know what the obsession is. Well, I can tell you what it is. The yeast has been out of a lot of stores, so I was assuming that people were making lots of bread at home, and so I figured there would be an uptick in sales online for bread makers. But there I am, just checking the initial condition. It plugged in and powered up. But again, you really got to like make a loaf at home to know if it's really working for sure. So finish out the aisle here with a bunch of crap, and we'll eventually move on to a new section once we get past the lamps. Camera there, no value. Let's keep on keeping on. Now, there's a home run here, but there's a problem. Towards the end of this rack, you're going to see me pick up that Pittsburgh Penguins hat. That hat is probably a $50 hat once I get past all of the generic brand stuff. So it's a white hat. It's a little bit dirty, which is okay if it's not broken, like you will see here in just a second. That's the hat right there. So that's a $50 hat. Unfortunately, and the bill was great, interior looked great, the game is the brand, vintage, it is broken. You see that right there? Bummer. Because that would have been a good haul. Yeah, there you go. Thumbs down. I knew it when I saw it, but I'm glad I picked up the fact that it was broken. Okay, I'm done with location number 2. It is now 10:30. I spent about 30 minutes in that store, although I'll tell you, 10 of it was just waiting in line. As you can see, as evidenced by this picture, the lady was new up front, so she'd only been a couple of days on the job, so it took a little bit longer to check out, and that is okay. So I'm gonna be on to location number 3 here in just a second. Total drive time is gonna be about 15 minutes to get there. So I got that bread machine. We'll take a look at it when I get home. What else did I pick up? I picked up the DVD VCR. I forgot to test it in store. They have a 24-hour return policy in this store, so if it doesn't work, I can take it back. But just in the interest of being quick today, I just passed on testing it. It's in the trunk. So I got that, and then I got a Mahjong set. I don't really know a whole lot about it, and I couldn't really determine the comparables. I couldn't find a brand on it. The thing looked pretty cool, so we'll take a look at that as well. So I got 3 items there, but let's get to the next location. Great looking pair of Clarks here that I passed on accident. They look like Prevo zucchinis, which I sell a lot of. They were in excellent condition, so they kind of mimic that style. Really nice looking. I probably should have looked those up and didn't. But I turned the corner here and things start looking up. So a couple of pairs of shoes on the bottom rack here that you'll see that end up coming home with me, and it was worth the trip alone. Those are Nike Vapor Max women's. I believe they were size 10.5. Beautiful shoe, great looking soles, and those end up going in the cart. Next pair, Brooks Launch 6, the Run Happy version. Excellent soles. You'll see me talk about those at the end of the video as well. I've sold them before, so just finding those two pairs alone made the trip worth it. I passed on these Under Armour size 8s, probably should not have because they look kind of awesome. And again, like, I leave stuff behind too, just in the interest of moving quick and wanting to get the hell out of that damn store. I just passed on them, and you know, it was all said and done. Okay, that's it for store 3. In and out like a robbery. It is now, it's a 11:15. So I got into the first store at 9. So we're going on just a little over 2 hours. 2.5 if you count drive time, which was about 15 minutes to the first store. So I'm not done yet. I'm gonna head home, probably grab like an early lunch, and then map out the rest of my sourcing day. So far, so good though. I think our numbers are looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna slow down here for a minute, refuel, and then we'll pick it back up here in just a second. Okay, we're gonna do some simple math here because I think I'm at my number, and I might not have to go back out to source today if I've met my goal. And I could go back out and source and, you know, finish up the rest of the day. But I can also use this time to test some of these items to make sure that they're in perfect working condition. So let's get a rundown here real quick. So this is a Panasonic VCR. The list to sell ratio on these are fantastic. Model number here is PV8450. Assuming this is tested and works, I'm gonna try to get $50 for that. As you can see, kind of right there, I paid $9.99. Sanyo, this is a DVD VHS combo. I paid $5.99 for this guy. I'm hoping this one works because I believe the model number right here, DVW6100, looks kind of scraped up, so we'll see what happens. But if that works between $50 and $60, I think I'm gonna list this one. So we've got about $100 into these two machines right here. The next one, that's the bread machine. I did pick that up. You saw that just previously there, $4.99 for that. I'm going to try to get in between $50 and $60 for this. The model number was TR444 on that. I also picked up this new in box, or new in package Hoover wind tunnel, like little hand piece right there. This was what, $2.99. You know, I'm gonna get between $10 and $20 for this. I'm gonna shoot for 20 and we'll see what happens here. Now this is one of the ones you didn't see here. This was that Mahjong set. This looks really neat, really ornate pieces here in the middle. I don't know, like, I know some of the Bakelite sets go for a ton of money, so I couldn't find a brand on this. I don't really know what to do. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research on it. Maybe I'll find a brand or a comparable sale. I like maybe between $30 and $50 for this. Let's just say 30, let's be conservative right here and say 30 bucks. So 30 and then 20 here, so that's 50. If we're at 50 here, that's another 100 plus these two here. Now we're at $200. All right, so 200 bucks. I picked these up because there were comparable sales, and I might be sitting on these for a couple of months here, but I'm gonna say these are brand new, by the way. I'm gonna say I'm gonna get 25 bucks for these glasses. And you can see I paid $3.99 for that. Here, I've got about $120 worth of games, so let me run through these ones. You saw me throw these in my cart. I think I can get 25 for Raw 2. I think I can get 30 for Mortal Kombat. Is that Shallow and Monks? If I screwed that up, someone correct me. So 25 here, 30 here. I'm gonna try to get 20. These are all complete, by the way. All of these games are complete. Manuals, inserts, and games. 20 for Oni, PlayStation 2, 20 for Dragon Ball Z, Budokai. This is the third, so 20 for that one. And then the SmackDown Shut Your Mouth PlayStation 2. I'm gonna try to get 20 for that as well. So 60, what, 90, and then 25. What is that? That come out to 120, 115, somewhere around there. So 110 to 120 bucks for the games. Put those back here. These are Adidas AdiPro weightlifting shoes. I paid 10 bucks for those. They're in excellent condition. I don't see a comparable blue. They do sell for, you know, around $100, but I don't know how this color is going to work out for me. So conservatively, let's say we're going to get 70 for that. All right. These are, I think these are Vapor Max, Nike Vapor Max women's. I paid $4.29 for them. New, they sell for around 100. I don't know what size these are. What size are they? These are a size 8, and you can't see the tag in there. I'm gonna shoot for $70 on those as well. That could change, but I think 70 is a decent conservative price. And then I've sold these before. These are Brooks Launch 6, and I think it's size 9. Nope, I lied. They're size 10.5. So that's a good size. These are the Run Happy versions. I've had these in a haul video. I think you've seen me do a haul, or on the What Sold on eBay videos. I've sold this before. I'm gonna shoot for $50 on these. I paid $4.29 for them. $4.29 here, $4.29 here, and then the 10 for those. So let's go do some math. So 50, 70, that's 120. Another 70, that's 190. Let's add the 110 right here to make it 300. 325, let's say 355, 375. This would be 425. And then these two guys right here, another 100, 525 in total for all of these items right here, conservatively. I might list them for a little bit more, but we're just, you know, right at around $525. Now you can see how long I sourced, so this looks like a pretty good haul, but let's go back to my computer screen here before the video is up. All right, so we're back at my good old computer. It's actually the following day. My computer was acting like a real jerk yesterday, so I hit the timeout button and had to finish the rest of this video in the morning today, which is now the 11th. All of those clips were recorded yesterday on the 10th. So I want to show you, we're in my inventory right now. I spent all the rest of the time yesterday getting the items listed. So you can see right here, Oni, the game that I sourced right there. Now I'm going to show you 3 of these items have already sold, and I got the rest of them listed. I want to talk about how long it took me to get everything photographed and listed, because I think it's important, and we'll cover a few other things that I wanted to touch on before the end of this video. So I started at exactly I got my first listing done at exactly 149 yesterday, and that was one of the ones that sold. I think it was the Dragon Ball Z game was the first one that I had listed. So we'll look at that in a second. But if you pan up here, so I got Ani listed for 20, the Raw game for 30, SmackDown for 20, and then that, like I said, that Hoover Wind Tunnel, I have that listed for 20 as well. The weightlifting shoes, the powerlifting shoes, I listed those for 70. There aren't any really good comps for that color, so I'm just kind of like, you know, taking a guess on it. The Vapor Maxes, there are no used shoes in that style, so I listed that for 85, kind of high. We'll see what happens. The Brooks Launch 6, I listed those for 65 again because I only see new ones in that exact color scheme. So I thought 65 bucks, you know, we'll see. We'll see if, you know, people message me and send offers, even though I don't have best offer listed on there yet. I might change that. So the Sanyo DVD VHS, I listed that for 55. That already has a watcher. Bread maker right here, listed that for $55 as well. As you can see, this got me up to about 12, this was 3:13 Eastern, and then I took an hour break to play with my kids. So I got these two listed like an hour later. Those were the last two. Interesting thing about that Mahjong set, after doing my research, it was rare to find the betting sticks, which are those pieces in the middle made out of bone that I had no idea what they were. prior to. So the Chinese Mahjong set might actually turn out to be a really nice sale. I shot high because I couldn't identify a brand. I couldn't identify that there were really like any really rare pieces on the tops of the tiles. They are dovetailed. You'll see if you look at the listing, like there's bamboo attached to the bottoms of the pieces and they're dovetailed together. So that was an interesting thing to learn. I don't know if this is from the 1920s. I see a lot of the 1920 sets go for a huge amount of money, as well as the ones that are made out of Bakelite, which I mentioned before. So I'm going to shoot high for this. This was like just an interesting thing to learn about that I didn't know beforehand. So I'm glad I picked those up. So I listed that for 109 and then the cups at 25. Already 3 sales from yesterday. So here's the VCR that sold for 50. The Dragon Ball Z game that sold for $20, and then the Mortal Kombat game sold for 25. So there's already 3 sales on all of the stuff that I did yesterday. Now I have written down the total money I spent was $71.44, and it took me like around 2.5 hours to list everything, and then maybe 2.5 hours to do the sourcing. So if you add that up, it's only 5 hours, and tack on some drive time there, but everything is within like a 30-minute radius. So looking at this, like even on a part-time basis, like if you were just doing this for extra money, that only took me 5 hours from start to finish, right? And I still had like my entire day left to finish. I mean, if you're working 12-hour days, you have 7 hours left in that day to go do something else. So the total list value, including the stuff that I have already sold, was $650. Now that's pretty good for a 5-hour day, and this is kind of normal for me. Like this is, and that includes like testing the electronics, making bread, all that stuff. So you really can get it done if you put your mind to it. So I'm glad that we tallied all of the numbers up before, giving you the keys to my castle here so that you can really see how fast I move, how quickly I think, and things I miss in the store. So yeah, I don't get everything correct all the time, but when you write down your goals, you try to work towards them, you really can get it done. I mean, this is like full-time money on a part-time basis when we're talking about these hours, and I could have gone back out, but when I get home and my kids are running around, like I get super distracted. It takes a long time to create videos, upload content, and all that stuff too. So that's time away as well. But at Dad Planet, it's Dad first, and we do business second. So I hope you liked this video. I hope you learned something, and please comment. This was a long one, so if you saw something that was cool that I missed, I would love to know about it. And don't forget to hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. That helps me. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video.